Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we want to take a look at the Town 12 base, and the link will be once again down below in the description where you can find it and copy it. First off, this base is more against Lalo than against Packer Smash. I saw yesterday so many guys commentating about like Packer Smash, etc. So I will try to take a look for another anti-Packer Smash base if I find something like that. But this one was one of our, or was base I used against Blame Adam in the Champions League or Champion War League Elite, and it defended pretty well. So I thought, okay, let's do a video about that because I normally don't rerun any bases. So let's take a look at this one. First off, normally most of the players are coming from the bottom. That's why we have the Warden in the core to make sure that the Queen charges are kinda hard as soon as you're getting close to the core, because with all of the expos are shooting at the Queen, then the Warden itself, it's kind of tricky to actually get a lot of value if you're coming from the 6 o'clock side. So we have this setup, which is similar to a qualifier base. I like the idea of the dead zone and the overall design. So I tried to make my own version of the base. And right now, which is super tricky, is to place air traps. Because when a lava hound is popping on top of a air defense, it means you can click on the air defense and you will see the range of where the lava pops will actually go. And this means as soon as you have an air trap in range of your air defense, this means pops will trigger it. And that's something which I hope will get nerfed in the future, because Lalo is already really strong. And it would be a perfect nerf to the strategy without actually nerfing the stats of the troops. With having the Hound explosion throwing pups out like in a smaller radius, it would mean you could way easier place actually traps against that strategy, which right now is a huge issue. The next thing is we have those three, which I marked like a second ago. We have three main points, like with the two Inferno Towers on the left, the Townhall, and the Inferno Tower at the bottom, which means a couple of attackers are coming from the Townhall side, which in the end means they will get into the small alley in the back end and will run in front, like in between of two Inferno Towers, but they can't reach the Inferno Towers because, well, there's always the gap in between of the buildings which are running in the alley and the next thing. The next thing, what, like I said, a lot of guys are trying, is the Queen charge from 6. You're getting a lot of value. You're getting 2 air defenses in the Inferno Tower. Most of the time you are thinking you would get the Eagle and the enemy Queen, which is obviously a huge thing if you're thinking, for example, about Lalo or even Hawk Riders. So that's what a lot of players are trying to do. And most of them are coming from the left side because, like I just showed you, the sweeper is a little bit annoying. From the left side, the sweeper isn't as annoying because the sweeper is mainly against Electro Dragons or like Electron. So that's why the set of the sweeper are like this. You try to defend Electron over there. And this is basically the idea of the base. And like I said, I would say we will jump into a couple of replays, and I try to explain a bit more in detail with a couple of examples how this base actually works and why I designed it like this. And like I said, this is pretty similar to a qualifier base from Poland, but in the end with my own touch on it. We see I got attacked like 4 times. That took 4 tries. The first 3 tries were 1 stars, so they had to attack me that many times to actually get the base at least on 2 stars. And we will check out the replays and see what we can take from that pretty much. So the first attack is going to be, or pretty much all of the attacks are going to be Queen charges from the 6 o'clock side, because like I said, this is the most obvious one. This is what most of the guys are doing, at least when I tested my base or like I used it in war. So normally people try to Queen charge from the bottom. A couple of guys tried Queen charge Hawk Riders, a couple of them try Queen charge Lalo. Typically when you're using the Queen charge Hawk Rider attack, you're using a ram, which means you don't need the slammer that much in the Hawk Rider attack. So normally you don't really use the slammer for the back-end Hawk Rider part. So on this one, like I said, I'm using the ram, but there's so much damage on it that it's only getting the 2 layers open, which means it's not getting a third or whatever open, which is pretty decent. It looks really good actually for him, because his queen is taking out the enemy queen, the ice golem throws pretty much everything over there, and now he has to use a lot of rages. I think the first one was a little bit swagged, but we take it, I guess. And let's keep watching. The queen should go to the core in a second because the jump spell got placed, which means let's see how the queen jumps, because that's the next thing. Most of the time people are dropping the jump spell like this, but this means first off the air skeletons are popping off. Second of all, the queen isn't immediately jumping to the eagle. And the next thing is that the queen is taking her time to actually get to the eagle, which means the eagle has more time to actually shoot all the time onto the enemy hawk riders. On the hawk riders were really nice because the tornado trap is catching all of them next to the king. Meanwhile, the king itself is going for the warden, but I think even if that would have been changed, like the king would have smashed the hawk riders, it would have made a difference because, like you see, the hawk riders are dying so quick at the town hall that even with the warden ability a little bit later, I don't think that it would have been an easy 3-star or anything. It could have been a 2-star, obviously, but not a triple or anything like that. So this is going to be the first defense, which was, like I said, the 1-star. And we will take a look at a couple of more replays. And after the first hawk try, they noticed, okay, this isn't working with hawk riders, the tornado trap is killing us. So let's try something different. That still like the charge, so they stick with that, but they're changing it up. So they're using this time Lalo from the left side, like I told you, because Sweeper is nicer for this. So let's take a look at how he is doing it this time. He has a jump spell with him, no wall breakers, which means he wants to immediately jump into the first section. And he has the baby dragon funneling, another baby dragon to actually make sure that everything is funneled. Now the queen, the healers, and then immediately the jump spell to get into the base. The next thing is that it's kind of tricky to actually get rid of this elixir storage, and you will see in a couple of more replays how annoying it actually is to get rid of that. On this one it worked really nicely for him. Queen jumped inside, but even though the jump looks really good, there are two options. First off, the option is she's jumping into the air defense compartment, which means you can't reach the air defense on the left side, which means you will lose all of the healers. And the next option is that she's jumping like this right now, and this means she can reach both air defenses, but at the same time this means the enemy clan castle will come out, and in the end the jump spell will run out of time because it takes so freaking long for her to actually get rid of the enemy clan castle, etc. So she wanted to go for the jump spell, but the enemy clan castle came out, and now the jump spell ran out, so it's even more time. And from this point on, it's only 1 minute left for the Lalo, which isn't too much time. So let's see how he's doing this one. He's starting off with a slammer. I don't know, I think I would have more taken the slammer on the left part, but let's see how this works. 2 lava hounds on the first air defense, which isn't the normal thing. In the end, it works out for him because the second hound is triggering the tornado trap. But normally what you try to do, you always have 1 hound on each air defense, which means normally you try to have 1 hound on the first air defense, and the second hound would come in from the 11 o'clock side to tank the second air defense. Normally this means the tornado trap isn't getting triggered like this, but I guess he mixed it up. But this means he won't have a tank on the second air defense because his first hound flew across way too early, and this means he got popped in a second. So this means that all of the loons are pretty much dying non-stop because the pathing is so annoying into the back end. And one thing as well, the warden isn't following as he planned. But this means we have once again a 1-star defense on our base. So let's see how the next attacker does. And this is going to be once again a pretty similar attack because, like I said, all of those attacks were after each other. The first one was the Hawk Rider attack. Then they thought, like I said, okay, Lalo should be better here because the tornado trap is so annoying with the king in the combination. This is going to be the next one. This time they thought, okay, we need more spells for our backend. We can't invest the jump spell, so we need wall breakers. But this means, since the wall breaker came too late, well, the queen is going to walk, which means the funnel isn't too easy. And this is the point which I mentioned earlier with the elixir storage. It's super annoying to funnel. That's something which just happens if you put the elixir storage or like overall storages, high HP buildings in the corners of your base, or like in corners next to funnel points. That's something which you always should keep in mind. Like the storages are super important in Clash of Clans and in base building in general, because you can store a couple of things so long that it's really, really strong. And you see as well, this Hound, for example, soaked up a lot of traps, but didn't trigger in the beginning the tornado trap. And by the time the loons were there, the tornado trap got triggered, but it caught the loons as well. But you once again see the stupid pathing into the back end, because they're flying from the expo to the warden, and then they're in the range of the sweeper, which means you need a spell over there. Once again, it wasn't enough. This time the next guy is attacking, and this is by this point already the 4th attack on this base, which means normally you get attacked maybe once in a Clanwar League match, so it's even stronger because they don't know any of the traps or like the Tesla location. Those guys know everything. For example, this guy isn't even dropping Coco or like a test wall breaker, but he still messes up the funnel. So once again, funnel is messed up, but he has to go for the 2-star, and funny enough, this looks, I think, the best in the end. So let's see how he does it. Even if he tried to go for the second layer, there was a giant bomb, which would have been super annoying for him to go through. So that's another thing for this charge. So let's take a look at how he's doing this time. He's placing a couple of loons to snipe the Inferno Tower. I think it were way too many loons, but it's okay. The effort counts. He's taking out the Inferno Tower, which means the healers should be more safe, taking out or trying to take out more expos, but the eagle in combination with the skeleton spells are completely annoying and killing his queen in the end. Now he's coming in with the Lalo part, and this is going to be, like I said, the 2-star. The sweeper looks annoying, but in the end it isn't as annoying as it looks, and that's kind of like an optic thing. So the Lalo from the Townhall side is way better, and I think if someone is executing this properly, this could work. But at the same time, there's still 2 air defenses alive, the Inferno Tower, Tesla, Wizard Tower, so it shouldn't be too easy. I think a couple of traps were still there which didn't trigger. You see it on your screen. So this is the base. Let me know how it works for you. At the same time, there's not a base right now out there which defends everything, so I just hope that it works for you guys. This is it from me. I hope you liked the video. I hope you liked the base. Let me know down below in the comments, and see you in the next one.